Garrett Tenney is in Milwaukee. Garrett.
Yeah, Harris, the illegal immigrant that judge was allegedly trying to help had already been deported back in 2013, and he was in her courtroom that day after allegedly beating and choking his roommate and several others last month after they complained his music was too loud and asked him to turn it down. But when Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan found out that ICE agents were outside her courtroom waiting to arrest Eduardo Flores-Ruiz, witnesses say she was visibly upset and angry, so much so that she allegedly left the bench and went out into the hallway to confront the agents and told them they needed to go down the hall to see the chief judge. Then, without telling anyone in the courtroom, including Flores-Ruiz's victims, the criminal complaint says the judge adjourned the case. And as the Mexican national and his lawyer started to walk out, witnesses heard the judge say, "Wait, come with me," before leading them out through a back exit. Court records state, according to the courtroom deputy, only deputies, juries, court staff, and in-custody defendants being escorted by deputies used the back jury door. Defense attorneys and defendants who were not in custody never used the jury door. Now, Flores-Ruiz eventually made his way out of the courthouse through these doors behind me, where he eventually gave chase to the agents who caught him, took him into custody. Now, a week later, it was the judge, Judge Dugan, who was in cuffs herself, facing charges of obstructing immigration officers and concealing a person to prevent arrest. Here's Tom Homan this morning.
I can't believe there's any elected official, and especially a judge, that doesn't believe we should be doing that, and they should be helping us. I've said this 1,000 times. When you cross that line to impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien from ICE, you will be prosecuted, judge or not.
Yeah, you saw some of those protests that we've had since Friday over Judge Dugan's arrest. Another one is scheduled for later today. Her next court hearing is May 15th. Harris?
Wow. From a judge who didn't want to enforce the law to a judge who has multiple court hearings. Unbelievable. Garrett, thank you. In focus now, Republican Senator John Cornyn of the great state of Texas, member of the Judiciary, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations Committees. Great to have you, Senator. This does not seem like the American justice way. What's your take?
Well, in America, no one is above the law, including public officials and judges. And I say that as a former Texas state judge myself for 13 years. So this is pretty egregious stuff. I mean, obviously, President Trump is following through on his campaign promise, and for which he received a mandate on November the 5th to enforce our immigration laws. And I support that wholeheartedly. And if it means that people, including elected officials like judges, are obstructing the law and obstructing that process, they should be investigated and they should be prosecuted. And so this sounds like a case of misplaced sympathy by those who are somehow saying the judge is being treated unfairly.
Either that or everybody's running for office now, including that judge. I really can't tell the difference, but I thought Byron York's new column put it this way. I thought this was a great question, Senator. Will Judge Dugan become the next hero of the resistance? I mean, basically, she becomes a protester in all of this.
Well, that's right. And, you know, unfortunately, in Washington, D.C., you have these competing narratives, and people back home in Texas and elsewhere wonder, you know, what the truth is. But so far, based on what we know, based on your report, it looks to me like the judge had misplaced sympathies, and rather than enforcing the law impartially as she should have, was actively aiding and abetting an illegal immigrant to avoid the enforcement of the law.
Well, Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-Dermer just warned governors to comply with the president's executive order barring illegal immigrants from claiming unemployment benefits. So we'll move from that judge now to this next chapter of the president keeping his word to Americans. She says they risk losing federal grants if they do not apply. Her letter is to all 50 state leaders, and it was sent last week, and it reads in part this way, Senator. It is critical that we ensure American taxpayer dollars do not go toward encouraging or rewarding illegal immigration to the United States. Unemployment benefits are not a handout for those in our country illegally. This seems so basic. Why isn't it?
Well, because there are people who are actively opposed and resisting each and everything that President Trump and this administration is doing. And again, Harris, this is a mandate by the voters on November the 5th. And I think Democrats aren't doing themselves any favor by resisting even common sense measures like this. They are in complete disarray because even people who might be inclined to their point of view have to admit they just have gone way too far. And so I think they're digging their own political grave.
You are in a border state, the great state of Texas, and I would be remiss on this 99th day, on the eve of 100 days for this president. Quickly, can you tell me the best thing that's happened in your state for national security with the issue of border?
Well, the border's finally under control, and we found out that it didn't require the passage of new laws like Democrats, including President Biden, had said previously. It just required a new president and somebody committed to enforcing the law. But as much as law enforcement, it's also the deterrence that goes along with people, with the message that if you come to the United States illegally, you'll be returned.
Senator Cornyn, great to see you. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.